Hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening sa inyong lahat. I am recording this session para maging supplemental material on past 7 statement of cash flows. Okay? So I have prepared here 15 questions to cite the provisions of the standard. So, tignan natin if you will be able to follow, no? Okay, sige po. So, pag-umpisahan na po natin, no? So, first question, focused on the benefits of cash flow information. Alin daw sa mga sumusunod, okay, best explains why cash flow information enhances the usefulness of financial statement for users? Letter A, because it replaces accrual-based profit sa pag-evaluate ng entity's performance. Or letter B, because it allows users to assess changes in net assets, financial structure, and the entity's ability to generate and time future cash flows while improving comparability across entities. Sir, pinakamahaba, yan na po yung sagot. Okay? At tignan natin, basahin muna natin yung CND. For letter C, it ensures that all entities report operating performance using identical accounting policies. And letter D, it focuses primarily on the valuation of non-current assets and long-term liabilities. Now, indeed, the correct answer is letter B, no, pinakamahaba. But it's not because it's the longest, but because we have to highlight here the benefits, no? At marami po yun. Now, citing the provisions of paragraph 4 and paragraph 5 of the standard and highlighting here, no, by coloring the phrases, ito po ang sinasabi ng PAS 7. Okay? Kung papaano magiging useful ang cash flow information sa mga users. Kasi una, ang sabi, it enables users to evaluate the changes in net assets. So that's one. Its financial structure, including the liquidity and solvency. Kasi di ba pag liquidity and solvency, ability to pay, okay, yung mga obligations. At saan ba natin kukunin yung pambayad? Eh di syempre sa pera. Pangatlo, its ability to affect the amounts and timing of cash flows. And that was mentioned dito sa ating answer, letter B. Pero bukod din po dyan, nakalagay din dito, it's useful sa pag-assess ng entity's ability to generate cash and cash equivalents. Now, ang kadalasan po, kapag pinag-aaralan natin yung statement of cash flows, nakatuon tayo sa cash. Pero tandaan po natin na cash and cash equivalents ito. I will discuss later by way of another problem paano naman yung portion ng cash equivalents. Kasi ito yung kadalasan medyo nakakaligtaan. Pero kasama din po ito when we present the statement of cash flows. Okay? Another benefit, it enables users to develop models to assess and compare the present value of the future cash flows of different entities for decision making, future. And also enhances comparability by of the reporting of operating performance by different entities. And another provision sa paragraph 5, sinasabi rin dito na yung statement of cash flow ay ginagamit bilang indicator sa amount, timing, and certainty ng future cash flows. Useful siya in checking the accuracy of past assessments of future cash flows and in examining the relationship between profitability and net cash flow and the impact of changing prices. So, predictive and confirmatory value. Ayan. All right. So that's question number 1 and the cited provision. Now, question number 2, focus tayo doon sa cash and cash equivalents. Okay. Si ABC Corporation, meron siyang mga pinangahawakan na short-term investments. Okay? Una, treasury bills maturing in 45 days, purchased for liquidity purposes. Pangalawa, preferred shares acquired 2 months before maturity with a specified redemption date, held primarily to meet short-term obligations. No? Pangatlo, common shares of a listed company purchased 1 month ago intended for short-term trading to earn gains. At pangapat, corporate bonds maturing in 6 months held to earn interest income. Now dito sa term na short-term investment, alin po dito yung magka-qualify as cash equivalents in accordance with IAS 7? Letter A, letter B, letter C, or letter D? Ang sagot po natin dito ay letter A. 1 and 2 only. Okay, bakit po? According to paragraph 7 of the standard, no, yung cash equivalent na isinasama natin when presenting your statement of cash flows, no? Okay? Ang purpose natin is to meet short-term cash commitments and not as for investment or other purposes. Again, take note, the reason why isinasama natin yung cash equivalent because the purpose of this is to meet short-term cash commitments. Unlike yung mga short-term investments, no, ng mga time deposits or yung other investments, no, like 6 months investment, kagaya po dito sa number 4, okay, or itong number 3, okay, that is for purposes of investment, trading, to earn profit, to earn gain, okay, unrealized gain, for example. Pero, yung cash equivalent na isinasama natin when presenting statement of cash flows, yung purpose po nito is to meet short-term cash commitments kung kinakailangan. And therefore, available po siya, no, readily convertible to a known amount of cash and subject to an insignificant risk of changes in value. That is why when we study cash and cash equivalent sa intermediate accounting, ito, di ba sabi natin, 3 months or less, no, from the date of acquisition. At hinighlight ko din po siya dito. No, with an insignificant risk of changes in value. At gagaling po yun dito sa past 7. Now, eto, kasi merong na-mention dito about preferred shares with a specified redemption date. Supposedly, equity instrument po yan. Okay? Ang sabi ng standard, yung equity investments, excluded po yan, no, from cash equivalents. Maliban na lamang, no, if in substance, cash equivalent sila. Bakit? Applying substance over form, di ba? Kung ang preference shares mo acquired within a short period of their maturity, tapos merong specified redemption date, okay? Consider po natin siya as cash equivalent rather as an investment in equity securities. Okay? So kaya po dito isasama natin even yung number 2. Pero yung number 3 at saka yung number 4, ignore. It will not be considered and classified under cash equivalents. Okay? So I hope klaro po tayo dito. Next question, still under this cash and cash equivalents. Alin daw sa mga sumusunod yung nagpapaliwanag, no, bakit may mga short-term investments and even bank overdrafts that may be included in cash and cash equivalents under PAS 7? And that is why when we study cash and cash equivalent, no, alam naman natin, di ba? Bank overdraft, hindi, accounts payable yan, di ba? Liability account yon. Pero if meron tayong right to offset, di ba? Pwede. Okay. Pero ano bang sinasabi ng standard about this bank overdraft and certain short-term investment? I don't know if this is new to you, pero let me explain. So assuming nabasa niyo na yung A, B, C, and D para lessen yung time sa makonsume sa pagbabasa, the correct answer dito ay letter C. Because they form an integral part of cash management and are readily convertible to known amounts of cash with insignificant risk of value changes. And citing the provision of the standard, we have paragraphs 8 and 9. Ano ang sinasabi sa paragraph 8? Pag ang pinag-uusapan po natin ay mga short-term borrowings, mga bank loans, 'di ba financing activity 'yan? Kaya nga kung meron tayong cash proceeds from bank loan, financing activity 'yon. Yes, that is correct. However, in some countries, bank overdrafts which are repayable on demand form an integral part of an entity's cash management, and that is this portion sa letter C, yung phrase na yon. Okay, at sa mga ganitong pagkakataon, bank overdrafts are included as a component of cash and cash equivalents. Okay? So, isasama natin siya as part of your cash and cash equivalent. We will have to offset it na. Okay? Cash flow, ito, another paragraph sa standard. Cash flows exclude movements between items that constitute cash or cash equivalents. So we exclude the movements between these items because these components are part of cash management rather than part of its operating, investing, and financing activities. And part of the cash management includes the investment of excess cash in cash equivalents. Okay? O kaya nga, we treat it as cash and cash equivalent. So kung meron tayong movement to or from cash or cash equivalent, or vice versa, we ignore this in the presentation. Okay? Now, let's proceed to question number 4. This time, presentation of a statement of cash flows naman, yung ating topic or subtopic sa standard. Alin daw dito sa apat na ito yung tama regarding the classification of cash flows under IAS 7? So assuming nabasa nyo na post nyo na po itong video, okay? Ang tamang sagot po natin ay letter C. A single cash transaction, but when we prepare your statement of cash flows, it may be split into different classification. Operating, investing, financing. For example, sa pagbabayad po natin ng utang, the payment may be partly payment of interest and payment of principal. The payment of the interest may be considered as operating while the repayment of principal financing. Now, please take note, and I have highlighted this in the thumbnail. Okay, doon sa first slide, This discussion of PAS 7 still ignores the effect of the revisions made by IFRS 18 affecting the PAS 7. Kasi pag-usapan po natin separately in the future, yung impact ng IFRS 18 sa PAS 7. Okay? Lalong-lalo na dun sa mga interest and dividends and some other provisions, Okay, so for now, yung interest is considered as operating, tapos may alternative classification yon. We will discuss also that later on. Okay, so eto naman po yung relevant provision ng PAS 7, paragraphs 11 and 12. We have to present, alam naman natin yon, when we present your statement of cash flows, operating, investing, and financing activities. Pero, while classifying this by activities, provide information that allows users to assess the impact of those activities and used to evaluate the relationship among those activities. Hinighlight ko yung mga kailangan po ninyong bantayan. Pero, a single transaction may include cash flows that are classified differently and therefore we have to classify them accordingly. So, we does not necessarily classify the transactions classify the events per transaction, but according to activities that it affects. Okay? So actually, nakasama po dito mismo sa paragraph 12 yung example for the repayment of a loan that includes both interest and capital, which is your letter C here. Okay? So that's question number 4. Next question po tayo. Ito naman, cash flow classification. Alam naman po natin, yung tatlong classification. Alin daw dito yung tama about the classification of cash flows under IAS 7? Letter A, letter B, letter C, or letter D? Now, assuming nabasa nyo na po at na-pause nyo na para i-process ito, the correct answer for question number 5 is also letter C. Cash flows from rents and subsequent sales of assets held for rentals and then for sale are classified as operating activities. Now, bakit mali yung iba? Kasi yung letter A, cash flows from the sale of plant and equipment, always classified daw as operating activity. No, investing po yun. Cash flows from the purchase and sale of trading securities, hindi po yan investing. Operating po yun, no? Kasi for trading ito. Yung letter D, cash advances and loans made by a bank are classified as investing because they involve long-term assets. Oh, wait, financial institution po ito. Anong sinasabi ng standard? Ito yung na-mention sa paragraphs 14 and 15 ng standard about cash flow classification. Okay, so ito yung sagot natin, letter C. Cash payments to manufacture or acquire assets held for rental to others and subsequently held for sale ay cash flows from operating activities. No? Bakit? Okay, ito kasi sandali basahin muna natin yung umpisa para kompleto tayo sa konteksto. May mga transactions, di ba, like the sale of an item of plant na syempre will impact your profit or loss kasi meron tayong gain or loss on disposal. While it affects your profit or loss determination, pero cash flow from investing yon, di ba? Klaro sa atin yon, di ba? Kapag related sa non-current asset. Pero kung meron kang cash payment sa pag-manufacture or pagbili ng asset held for rental to others and subsequently held for sale, you are acquiring and selling this as your primary business objective. And therefore, that is your operating activity and not as investing activity kasi yun yung primary business mo. Okay? So that is why it should be classified as operating. Now, meron tayong mga bank institutions, mga financial institutions which are holding securities or loans for dealing or trading purpose. Dahil yun yung kanilang pinagkakakitaan, yun yung kanilang primary business activity, they will have to classify the cash flows arising from these transactions as operating activity. Kaya nga itong cash advances and loans made by a bank, dahil bangko sila, yun yung kanilang negosyo, hindi po yun investing, but rather operating activities. Okay? Kasi yun yung, main revenue producing activity of that entity. Pa-take note po nito, no? Ayan. Alright. Next question. Question number 6, still on cash flow classification. Alin daw dito yung tamang combination? Classified correctly in its entirety. So you have options A, B, C, D at meron ka dito mga operating, investing, financing activities. Alin dito yung tama yung classification na ilagay sa tamang pwesto? Okay? So, assuming nabasa na po ito at na-process na maigi, ang tamang sagot po natin sa question number 6 ay letter B. Okay? Mali po yung letter A kasi yung cash paid to acquire equipment, investing activity yan. It's not operating. Yung cash received from customers, operating po yan, hindi investing. Napag-swap. Tama po yung financing dito. Kailangan tama lahat. Yung letter C, mali because yung cash received from sale of inventory, operating din po yan. At etong financing, tama po ito in this sense, cash paid for interest on borrowings. Pag-usapan po natin yan, meron tayong primary and alternative classification. Okay? Sa letter D, mali yung una, cash received from repayment of a bank loan. Kasi po, okay, eto, financing yan rather than operating. Ikaw yung nangutang, Okay, tapos magbabay, ayan, cash received from repayment of a bank loan. Okay, received from a repayment of bank loan. So, financing activity po ito. Okay? Tapos, yung letter, itong investing dito, itong cash paid to acquire an equity investment held for trading because the business is for trading. Okay, that is considered as operating rather than an investing activity. Okay? So, yan po yung letter B, tama po yan lahat. Alright? So, I hope tama po tayo dito ng classification. Importante po yung classification sa statement of cash flows, no? Kasi mamamali po tayo ng presentation ng pag-prepare ng FS mo, statement of cash flow mo kung mali yung category. Okay? That's why we have another question. Question number 7. So, alin daw po dito yung ika-classify natin as investing activities? You have 4 options, no? Salaries and wages, royalties, interest paid, trade discounts. Alin dyan yung ika-classify natin as investing activities? 1 lang ba? 2 lang ba? 2 and 3? Or 1 and 4? Now, upon careful processing of these choices, your answer should be letter B. Item 2 only. Royalties paid to acquire a patent with an indefinite useful life. O intangible asset po ito. Intangible asset is a non-current asset and therefore investing. Yung salaries and wages, klaro yan, operating. Ito, interest paid on a long-term bank loan used to finance working capital. Now, used to finance working capital ito, so interest is considered operating. Although, meron tayong alternative classification for that. Okay? And trade discounts given to customers and settled in cash, operating activity po yan. So, lahat po, no, except sa item number 2, yun po, no, ang investing activity. Yung 1, 3, and 4, operating. Okay? Now, question number 8, reporting cash flows from operating activities. Sabi natin, for the operating activities, meron tayong direct and indirect method. Ang question number 8 is about the indirect method presentation. So, during the year daw, prepaid expenses decreased due solely to the expiration of insurance coverage na binayaran in advance at walang bagong prepayments na ginawa. Alin daw dito yung correct effect of this change on cash flows when we present your statement of cash flows, no, yung portion ng operating activities? Letter A, letter B, letter C, letter D. Okay? Now, yung indirect method natin will begin with your profit or loss from the statement of comprehensive income adjusted by non-cash transactions. Tapos, yung effect ng working capital, increase, decrease sa assets, current assets, at saka current liabilities. Now, kung may decrease ang prepaid expenses mo, no, current assets siya. So, baligtad, no? Inverse yung kanilang relationship. Kung nag-decrease yung current asset, increase yan. So, kung increase, the letter B dapat yung sagot. Add the decrease to profit, no? Okay? The explanation is kasi means less cash paid. So, cash inflow ang effect. Okay? So, that is your question number 8, no? So, you have to go back doon sa presentation ng indirect method. Okay? Although mas madaling prepare, no? I-prepare and widely accepted yung indirect method rather than the direct method. Okay? Kasi doon at least kahit papaano we reconcile, we transition from the accrual basis accounting from your statement of comprehensive income papuntang cash basis of accounting in your statement of cash flows. Okay. Next question tayo, no? Question number 9. Reporting cash flows on a net basis. Alin daw dito yung nire-report on a net basis? I don't know if nabasa po ninyo ito, but it would be worth it to read, no, the standard, the provision of the standard. Kasi meron tayong pwedeng maipresent sa cash flows on a net basis. At ano-ano po yun? Okay? Number 9, the answer is letter B. Pinakamahaba po, sir. Okay, bakit? According to paragraph 22, we can present on a net basis the following. Yung cash receipts and payments on behalf of customers. Okay? On behalf of customers, when the cash flows reflect the activities of the customer rather than yung entity. Okay? And another one, cash receipts and payments for items in which the turnover is quick and amounts are large and maturities are short. So eto more of concepts eto ha. Okay? Malay natin lumabas sa mga quizzes and examinations. We cannot really tell, but it's worth mentioning na rin. Okay? Now, in-screenshot ko na lang dito yung provision sa paragraph 23 and 23A. Ito po yung examples ng cash receipts and payment referred sa A. Okay, ito sa paragraph 23 at saka 23A about dito sa B. The acceptance and repayments of demand deposits of a bank. Funds held for customers by an investment entity and rents collected on behalf of and paid over to the owner of the properties. Okay, kung ikaw ay agent acting on behalf of your customers. Okay? Eto, 23A naman relating to B. Okay? Principal amounts relating to credit card customers. So yung mga customers mo. The purchase and sale of investment and other short-term borrowings. Those which have a maturity period of 3 months or less. So eto po we can present them on a net basis. Inflow, outflow, ineto na lang pwede na nating ineto. Okay? Yan po, Now, eto, karagdagan pa ha. Additional in paragraph 24. Kanina paragraph 23. Cash flows arising from each of the following activities of a financial institution. Okay? Cash receipts and payments for the acceptance and repayments of deposits na merong fixed maturity date, placement of deposits with deposit ito and withdrawal of deposits from other financial institutions, and cash advances and loans made to customers and the repayment of those advances and loans. Because for the same reason that anong sabi natin, asa na ba yon? On behalf of the customers kasi. Okay, so as finance, halimbawa ito sa bank, yung mga agents, okay, and then yung mga banks, customers rather than the entity. So pwede na nating i-present on a net basis. Okay, hopefully kahit pa paano na-appreciate ninyo ito. Okay, now for problem solving purposes, medyo limited naman yung exposure natin sa mga ganitong illustration. Question number 10 na po tayo about foreign currency cash flows naman. Alin daw dito yung tama? Okay, regarding the reporting of foreign currency cash flows under IAS 7. So medyo may kahabaan po ito, Sir, letter C ba yan? Kasi yun yung pinakamahaba. Yung answer is yes, letter C. Pero bakit letter C? Ayan for A, B, and D, hinighlight ko dito yung mga mali. Kasi sa letter A, at the exchange rate at the end of the reporting period daw. Yung letter B, reported as part of operating, investing, or financing daw. And for letter D, ignored daw. Okay, anong sabi sa atin ng standard? Sa paragraph 25, sabi dito, cash flows arising from from transactions in a foreign currency shall be recorded in an entity's functional currency. Now, sa ating sa AFAR po ninyo, meron kayong discussions about forex, di ba? Okay, meron kayong pag-uusapan doon about functional currency. So when preparing your statement of cash flows at meron tayong mga foreign transactions, may forex po tayong involved, it should be recorded in the entity's functional currency. Okay? So halimbawa, ito related sa letter A, cash flows of a foreign subsidiary translated at the exchange rates between the functional currency and the foreign currency. Dito kasi, exchange rate at the end of the reporting period, medyo bitin. Okay? Sa paragraph 28, no, about unrealized gains, kasi meron tayong na-mention sa letter B. So, papaano naman po yung mga unrealized gains? Unrealized gains and losses are not cash flows kasi wala pa naman realization. Kaya nga di ba unrealized? Hindi mo pa naman binebenta. Okay? Pag dinispose mo na, di-realize na yon. So, they are not cash flows. So, therefore, hindi i-report no, as part of operating, investing, or financing. But, yung effect, please take note, the effect of exchange rates no, on cash and cash equivalent held or due in a foreign currency is reported in the statement of cash flows. Para ma-reconcile natin yung cash and cash equivalents at the beginning and at the end of the period. Sayang, ay ngayon ko lang na-realize, no, dapat pala meron akong sinample dito. Okay? Pero you can check on your own. Hanap kayo ng mga multinational companies na merong, syempre, involved na foreign currency transactions. Makikita nyo po sa kanilang statement of cash flows, itong portion na ito. Yung effect ng say exchange rate changes. So, itong amount na ito presented separately from operating, investing, and financing, and includes the differences, if any, had those cash flows been reported at the end of period exchange rates. Okay? So, patulong na lamang po to explore yung financial statements ng mga listed companies because it's available online naman. Okay? So, letter C po tayo dito. Sabi dito sa letter D, ignore daw kasi. Hindi po, kailangan natin siyang isama. Reported in the statement of cash flows. All right? So, that's for question number 10. We still have 5 questions left. Question number 11, ito may computation tayo. Applying your forex, foreign currency cash flows. So if the entity reports the following, cash provided by, take note of the terms provided by. Operating ito naman investing pero cash used in. And then cash provided by pero financing. Tapos meron kang effect of exchange rate changes on cash and cash equivalent, negative. So lumiit. Okay? Assuming there were no non-cash investing or financing transactions, what amount should be reported as the net increase or decrease? Although ito redundant na, positive, negative. Pero hopefully, dahil doble-doble na ito, so sana naintindihan po ninyo na negative ito, ibig sabihin decrease. Positive, increase. So sabi natin, presented separately from the operating, investing, and financing. So, kung ito, cash in, provided by. Pag provided by, nadagdagan. Pag used, ang net natin ay nabawasan. So, 1.8 plus 900, that's 2.7. Minus 2.3, that's 400. Tapos, dahil negative ito, that's 250. So, the correct answer is letter A. 250,000 increase. So, meron kang net increase sa cash and cash equivalents mo for the period amounting to 250. So, ito, sinasabi natin, accounted separately. Presented separately from your operating, investing, and financing. Okay? That's question number 11. Let us now proceed to question number 12 on interest and dividends. So, alin naman daw dito? So, alin dito yung tama about interest and dividends? Okay? So, A, B, C, or D? Pag na-pause na, na-process na, ito po yung tamang sagot, letter C. At mali yung A, B, and C because of these words na in-underline at in-strike through natin. Okay? Prior ha. Kaya dito in-emphasize ko, prior to the effects of IFRS 18 revisions ha. Okay? Ang sabi ng standard sa paragraph 31 and 32, ang cash flows from interest and dividends received and paid disclosed separately, classified in a consistent manner from period to period. The reason why I am telling you this prior to effects of IFRS 18 revisions, it's because of the effectivity of IFRS 18, nabago na rin po yung PAS 7, yung ibang provisions. Halimbawa, dito sa treatment ng mga interest and dividends. Okay, pero para hindi tayo malito, hindi ko na muna explain ano ba yung naging changes sa IFRS sa IAS 7 because of the revisions na dinala ng IFRS 18. Okay? Now, yung total amount of interest paid during a period disclosed, whether it has been recognized as an expense or capitalized. No. Kaya ko yan highlight kasi may mga tanungan tayo dito about this. Halimbawa, interest paid and interest received must always be classified as operating cash flows. That is not correct. No, kasi eto pa. May karugtong pa yan actually. Sa letter A, must always daw, meron tayong alternative classification. Interest paid, interest received, dividend received, operating cash flow. But alternatively, yung interest paid mo may be presented as financing while your interest and dividends received, investing. For dividends paid, no, primarily financing, alternatively, operating. Okay? Mali yan kasi sabi dito, always classified as operating. Yung letter B, dividends paid, always classified daw as operating. Sabi nga natin dito, dividends paid, financing, alternatively, operating. So, meron tayong option. Okay? Pero it should be applied consistently. Okay? From period to period. Okay? Etong letter C, capitalized interest under IAS 23 is excluded. Anong sabi ng standard? Ito ha, yung total amount ng interest paid during a period, dinidisclose natin whether expense yan or capitalized. Kasi binayaran mo, cash flow yan eh. So, isama natin. Huwag mong i-exclude yung capitalized interest, no? Yung mga borrowing cost. Okay? So, ayan po, no? Now, dahil paragraph form, ito siguro makakatulong para mas maalala po ninyo ito mabuti. Kasi ito, importante po ito ha, sa ating statement of cash flows, yung classification nitong interest and dividends. Whether for theory, for concepts, no, or for problem-solving purposes. So, pag interest and dividends, primary classification, ang natatangi ay yung dividend paid. Dividend paid. Ito yon, no? Dividends paid. Okay? Financing siya. No? Pero the rest ay operating. Ang alternative classification nila, okay, yung interest and dividend na receive, parehas po sila, investing. Pero yung interest paid, financing. Yung dividend paid, operating. Nandirito po yung ating explanation, no? Because they enter into the determination, etc., etc. I have already explained this in my other video lecture. So, hindi ko na po uulitin yung explanation. Okay? So, that's question number 12. Sa question number 13, taxes on income naman ang gusto nating bigyan ng punto dito. Alin daw dito yung tama about classification of cash flows related to taxes? Pag may binayaran ka na tax, syempre maglalabas ka ng pera, kailangan din natin siyang i-present, i-disclose no, sa ating financial statement. So, ang tamang sagot dito, letter B. Ang taxes paid, usually classified yan as operating activities. Maliban na lamang if we can specifically identify the tax paid no, relating to investing or financing transaction. Okay? Mali yung letter A kasi always classified daw as operating cash flow. The general rule is, sige, cash flow. Pero if we can specify, i-specify mo, investing ba yan or financing? Okay? Taxes paid are only disclosed daw in the notes, not in the statement of cash flows. Very wrong. Kasi cash flow yan eh. Kasama dapat yan sa statement of cash flow. Not only disclosed. Okay? Yung letter D, taxes arising from investing or financing must always be included in operating cash flow. Mali po. Kasi sabi natin, if you can specifically identify it, then go ahead. Ito po yung sinabi ng standard no, sa paragraph 35. Separately disclosed, classified as cash flows from operating activities unless. Ito yung naka-identify, naka-underline. No? Okay? Now, sabi sa paragraph 36, when it is practicable to identify the tax cash flows with an individual transaction, o practicable yan, edi pwede natin silang i-classify as investing or financing. Okay? Pero kung impracticable, edi wag mo nang i-classify as investing or financing. So, practicability. No, if we can identify them. Okay? So, that's why letter B ang tamang sagot. Number 14, ito, application, itong taxes on income. So, during the year, an entity paid 1.2 million in income taxes. Of this amount, 300,000 was directly attributable to taxable gain on the sale of land. Okay? While the remaining 900 related to ordinary operating profit. So, paano natin i-classify? Di syempre, letter B. Related on the, taxable gain on the sale of land. Investing activity yon. So, yung 300 is separate mo. Investing activities. While the remaining 900 operating. Okay? So, di ba? Ayan. And last number, question number 15, on non-cash transactions. Alin daw sa mga sumusunod yung i-exclude natin in the statement of cash flows, pero disclosed elsewhere? And usually this is in the notes to the financial statements. A, B, C, or D? Pinakamahabang sagot na letter B. Acquisition ng machinery by assuming a directly related long-term liability. Inutang. Di walang lumabas na pera. Ang sabi ng paragraphs 43 and 44, no? Pag meron tayong transactions that do not require the use of cash or cash equivalents, exclude yan. Kasi nga, cash flow non-cash naman yan, inutang, di wala po tayong dyan, isasama na cash provided or cash payment. Kasi walang payment or walang collection. But it will be disclosed elsewhere. Okay, ano ang mga examples? Sa paragraph 44, binigyan tayo ng tatlong examples. Acquisition ng assets either by assuming directly related liabilities or by means of a lease. Actually, ito yung example natin sa letter B. Letter B, acquisition of an entity by means of an equity issue. Nag-issue ka ng equity security. Walang lumabas na pera. The conversion of debt to equity o conversion from a financial liability, for example, to an equity instrument. No, liability to equity, no cash involved. Okay? Yung letter A, nagbayad ka paid in cash. Letter C, cash proceeds, may pumasok. Letter D, cash repayment, nagbayad ka. So eto, kahit papaano, medyo obvious naman. Yung letter B, bukod siya masyado pang mahaba. Alright, so yun class, yun po lahat ng ating mga questions, 15 items to highlight some concepts na kailangan po ninyong tandaan bukod sa compute ng maayos or pag-prepare ng tama ng statement of cash flows. Okay? So hanggang dito lamang po muna tayo. Maraming salamat. Let me know if you have any questions. I will now stop the recording.